Ahora con...
Sí, sí, gracias.
Sí, espera que lo guarde.
Mira. Voy. Oye, Lu, seguro que no has escondido aquí el portátil. Esto...
Tú y yo vamos a tener nuestro bebé, te lo juro.
Juro que hay algo más que no me has contado. Si lo intuyo. Bueno,
Yes, this is actually an interesting series. So, the plot follows three sisters that reunite for a family vacation in the Dominican Republic. But the holiday takes a dark turn when the younger sister, who is a single mother, accidentally eliminates someone. When she calls her sister for help, the decisions the trio make will have repercussions for the rest of their lives. So, this is the whole plot. But before we get into further details and actually discuss the relationship between the lesbian couple, please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and let me know your thoughts down below. So yes, that is the whole plot. That's how the series is based on. It has 6 episodes, 1 season. It is available to watch in this case on Netflix, and it is called, guess what? Guess what? Esa noche, this night or that night in this case. So more of the story, let's break down the whole relationship between Paula and Luisa. So first we're gonna start off with Paula. Paula, she is, like the older sister, they went through a very tragic, situation and trauma when they were younger when it comes to their mother. So you can see that growing up, Paula, all she always wanted to do is to protect her sisters and be there for them no matter what, prioritizing them over everything else that she has going on in her life. She is a lesbian, she's an open lesbian, she's very well accepted by her family, and obviously she is in this case a veterinarian. She actually she helps her father in the family clinic, so she has a career going on for herself, but she's somebody that deals with a lot of trauma, especially when it comes to her family. On the other hand, we have Luisa. Luisa is her partner. They are married. Yes, they are married. So, Luisa also has her own traumas and her own things that she's trying to overcome. For example, one of the main things that, she has to overcome is, her ex situation that she had with her ex partner. She had that cheated on her. And when she found out that, she was being cheated on, that actually ends up affecting her a lot. And you can see kind of how it also affects their relationship when it comes to Paula and her as well. So both of them, all of the story, are dealing with a lot, but they are married and they are trying to build a family together, and that's how the whole plot of this whole situation actually ends up getting a little bit more interesting. So basically, the night that the elimination happened, you can actually end up seeing that in this case, Paula, she helped. She was actually like the mentor. She and her sister, they end up burying the body, and then they escape back to Spain so that they can get away with everything and basically just move on with their lives, because the person that actually ends up eliminating is a police officer, and it is the baby daddy of their younger sister. Basically, her younger sister eliminated her baby daddy because the baby daddy, wanted money so that, she in this case doesn't lose custody over, their younger, child that they just recently had. So there was a lot of chaos going on with their situation. But I want to focus just on the relationship between the two. So in this case, before they go on the trip, so that they can go visit the other sister who's also like a veterinarian, and she has her like a clinic going on in Dominican Republic. They go there to visit her for the opening of the business. You can actually see once they get there, there's just, there's when Paula actually ends up finding out that she is pregnant. And at the beginning, you can actually see that she decides not to tell Luisa about the pregnancy because they've been planning for this for such a long time. So yes, that was the whole situation. They actually end up finding out, that they are pregnant, but obviously Paula decides not to tell Luisa, and I could never see really why she didn't tell her, but later on you can see through her gestures and just the way she was moving why she have decided not to tell her, because while they were dealing with a lot of chaos in the Dominican Republic, you can also see that in this case Paula, she wanted to eliminate the baby, but things didn't go as planned, because just right before she was gonna do it, that's when she got the call for her to go help out her sister in that situation. But on the other hand, we have Luisa. Luisa is like, she was very suspicious towards, Paula's behavior. She was just checking on things and making sure that the stories that Paula was telling her was matching, because she had this, this thing in her head that she felt like something wasn't right, that Paula was hiding something from her. And at the beginning, she actually thought, that, she was cheating and all of that. But later on, Paula told her, like, hey, you cannot keep carrying on, the traumas of your past to our relationship. But this is later on when she already found out that, they were pregnant. So, and in that whole chaos situation, Paula ends up telling Luisa about the pregnancy. They were so happy when they returned to Spain. They were taking precautions, going to the doctor and just making sure they prepare for the arrival of their first, kid together. Obviously, later on, you can see that Luisa actually ends up finding out that Paula was lying to her at the beginning about the whole pregnancy because her other sister told her. Yes, guys, there is a lot going on between this couple. But later on, obviously, as does, like, I'm just trying to sum up the series, and later on you can see that, while they were preparing for motherhood, the sisters actually ends up getting arrested. And obviously at that point, you can see that Luisa was already, on the verge of, breaking up with Paula because she just couldn't take the lies, the manipulations anymore that she was going through. And not only that, she also felt like Paula always prioritized her family. She never chooses her. She never chooses, the kid that they're gonna have together, because at the end of the day, Paula, she does come from a very toxic, intense family environment, and that is something that Luisa, she was dealing with a lot of time when it came to their marriage. But it came to a point where she just couldn't take it anymore, and she wanted, in this case, Paula to make a decision. But Paula's decision always was to pick her family first, no matter what, and it is something that Luisa didn't want to do. So when she found out about the lie, when she found out, that Luisa wanted to, eliminate, their baby, and not only that, in this case, remove, she was super upset. She went to the clinic, and they broke up, and then the police came in. They got arrested, and obviously after that, Luisa still tried to make their relationship work, but things still didn't go as planned until, Paula got into another situation with her family. And there's when Luisa and then she got into an incident where she accidentally, wasn't in this case pregnant anymore because of an incident that she had, while she was trying to escape, the country. And she actually ends up losing, in this case, the baby. And then later on, you can see when Luisa found out that, she was super heartbroken. But there's the moment when she realized she needed to make a decision and remove herself from Paula's life. While Paula was in the hospital, you can see them going through a breakup. In this case, Paula totally understands Luisa's position. She didn't want to lose her, but she also didn't want to, give up, on her family, because her sister was arrested and she was extradited to Dominican Republic. Later on, you can see that, the relationship actually ends up ending. And there is when Paula also went to Dominican Republic. She served her time for the crime that she also committed, and she actually ends up staying for years and years, like over 15 years there in Dominican Republic, just being there for her sister, and also, just supporting her, because she was basically the only person that was supporting her. So there's a whole lot that goes on between the relationship. Unfortunately, they don't end up together, and it makes sense why they didn't end up together. There was a lot going on, but this couple is super, super worth to watch, guys. I'm telling you, you will not disappoint at all. They get a lot of camera time. They have a whole plot in their own. They have a whole story in their own. So yes, if you guys haven't watched it, you're definitely missing out on it. Go watch it on Netflix. And once again, just in case you didn't, catch the series name, it is called Esa Noche, basically that night in the English translation. It is a Spanish series, but you don't have to worry when it comes to, certain translations, because, Netflix, they have that covered. Very, very, very good series. Highly recommended. So yes, guys, that's basically it. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Until the next video, and goodbye.